The 2026 Colorado Business Economic Outlook Report dropped today. So joining me live over Zoom to give us some insight is Richard Wobbekind with the University of Colorado Boulder in the Leeds School of Business. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time. Appreciate you being here. As they say, give us the bad news, then the good news. So what is the short and long-term outlook and what are the risks?
Well, okay, if you want it in that order, the bad news and then the good news. The national economy is running at a pretty slow pace and has in 25, and we think will continue in 2026. And so that continues to impact the growth in the Colorado economy. So we have relatively slow employment growth estimated for this year, for 2025, and then again forecasted for next year, about 17,500 jobs for next year. So that's pretty slow compared to what we've seen over the last decade plus in Colorado. So that's going to take a little bit of getting adjusted to, I think, for a lot of people, a lot of businesses. But that's on the downside. I mean, you could say in a positive way, the positive spin is we don't have a recession built into the forecast. And people keep asking us, is there a recession? And we don't think there is a recession on the horizon. And we have 8 of our 11 sectors in the state adding jobs over the next year. So it's really just slower job growth, not no job growth or not a recession.
Right. Okay. I'm glad that you clarified that. That's interesting. What does population and migration into and out of the state look like to you?
Well, they're definitely slowing, and I want to be clear here that we use the work that's done by the state demographer's office. This is a consensus forecast of over 130 people, plus our sort of econometrics work behind it. But the state demographer's office is very actively engaged in this project, and they recently, when they came out with their numbers about 6 weeks ago, they revised down the population growth in the state, and it was largely related to revising down the net migration to the state, which has been recently been very much driven by international migration to the state.
And I do want to bring up, while I have you, you term it pride points. Can you talk to us about what exactly those are?
Pride points?
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, we think, the state has a lot of things that are very impressive, Denver Metroplex, but the state overall has a very diversified economy, has a very well-educated economy, second highest college education in the country, very strong in STEM space, but also strong in things like tourism and agriculture. So a wide diversity of areas that we feel good about, and in long term as well. I mean, and a strong energy sector, both conventional energy and renewable energy. So you put all of those things together, and we're diversified and we're positioned for the future. The concern for us is more in the shorter term, in terms of getting, reigniting the growth that we had seen over the last, say, 10 years.
I like those pride points, silver linings, if you will. So while you are talking to the viewer, what is most important for Coloradans to pay attention to next year? Any advice?
Oh, that's a good one. I would, obviously, I think paying attention to inflation, whether it stays at sort of the current 3% rate or starts to go up, because I think that will ultimately trigger whether or not the Federal Reserve can continue to cut interest rates. We have built into this forecast 3 interest rate cuts, a total of 75 additional basis points, 3/4 of a percentage point reduction between now and say the middle of the summer. We think that that's going to happen. And of course, for most consumers, that's a good thing because they're financing things in one form or another. And we have seen some increases nationally in the data that shows higher levels of delinquencies on auto loans and credit cards and so on. So we think those interest rate cuts are going to be important in terms of the financial health of the consumer. But if inflation goes up, the Federal Reserve was not going to have much of a choice in terms of in its ability to continue to cut rates.
Right. Richard, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.